Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a super interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Civivi Guile, designed by none other than Shawn Ashmore. There's his brand, Peace Neighbor. You probably know who Shawn Ashmore is. If you don't, he's been in a number of different things, but I feel like for me, the most memorable was the first X-Men movie. He was Iceman, which is probably gonna, all of a sudden that's gonna, a bunch of light bulbs are gonna go off. Yeah, that's who this was designed by. He's a big fan of the knife world. He's a knife collector, an enthusiast. It's really cool to have somebody like him, not only as a part of our community who actually does interact and talk with people. It's been pretty cool. He did a live stream with me it was just like a discussion video with me one time, which was really fun. But it's not only cool to have him as a part of our community, but somebody who designs knives that are good. He could have easily designed something that was terrible. I don't know why I think that's so funny. He could have, like anybody, it doesn't really matter like who you are. You could totally just not be good at designing knives, but he is. I don't know if it's that much of a surprise though. I mean, anybody who really spends a lot of time handling and playing with knives and sort of like constantly digesting knife content and using stuff. Yeah, it's like in one way or another, I think that anybody can be capable of producing something good. And that's what he did here. He made something really good. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm going to keep this knife. I really like it. There's a number of reasons. One of the big ones though is the super fluorescent green. I really wish that we saw more of this color on knives. I like it. I find it a pleasant color. If you didn't know, green is my favorite color. But it's also, as far as like the fluorescent colors that are, designed to like when we see them on knives, it just makes it easier to like not lose it. I find that this color of green is the most appealing, and I wish we saw more of it. It's just really cool. But there's a bunch of other reasons. Spoiler alert, I'm going to recommend this knife. It's linked in the description. It's really good. It's not expensive. So you can check that out if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links. Thanks so much to Shawn Ashmore and Civivi for making sure that I got one of these to check out. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Overall length of the Guile coming in at 7.5 inches, right there, about the same, very close to the Spyderco Para 3. Blade length 3.35, pretty good. I mean, honestly, the blade to handle ratio is really nice, especially considering he still worked in a little choil there. Blade length 3.25 inches. Let's do some size comparisons. Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and Others, up against the 8010 and my own Excalibur. So these two are much larger knives, but I still wouldn't call this a small knife. It's a medium-sized knife with a thinner profile, and it's very compact, folded up. So there we go. Let's put it up against the Spyderco PM2, which is always invisible to me for some reason. Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. Very, very similar in terms of overall length to the Para 3, but it has way more cutting edge. It's funny how similar the ergonomic lines are too. Look at this, right? And then let's actually flip it over and compare it to the cutting edge of the PM2. It actually has more cutting edge than the PM2, which is impressive. Let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue and the Hogue Deca. It's probably closest, as far as the size comparisons that I do, it's probably closest to the Deca. Slightly more cutting edge, slightly less. Well, it's actually, no, it's slightly more ergonomic room as well, because the ergonomic areas don't really, unless you count this area up here, it doesn't really start until here. So, yeah. I think that's pretty good. How's the action? Well, it's a Civivi, and Civivi does a great job with action. It's very, very easy to disengage. You can easily use this little slot here to reverse flick it. You can thumb flick it. It's a little bit more of a, I use like the side of my thumb and kind of dig it into that hole, and then I'm kicking out this way. You can also front flip it, and I don't know, Shawn, I don't know if you intended for this to be the case, but I can top flip it too. This is very fidgety, which is cool. It's not like, oh my God, like we've never had fidget. No, but when you're doing it on a narrow profile and succeeding, I'd say that's the part that's kind of rare. A lot of times we get these narrow profile knives and they're cool, but they're not always super fun to hang on to, and they're not always easy to manipulate, especially when it comes to gaining access to some sort of slot, trying to reverse flick it. This has kind of overcome a lot of the negatives that are typically associated with knives that have this profile. I think that's pretty impressive, right? Maybe subconsciously I'm searching for things to complement this knife because I'm such a big fan. I'm a big fan of Shawn. I am, that's the truth. But I feel like I'm being perfectly honest here. Yeah, I think this was done very well. I think this was thought out. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Shawn has multiple prototypes and was like, that's not working, let's try this. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. I think it's really good. The action is great. It's second nature to manipulate it. And it's very comfortable. Feel safe, feel confident. It's very clicky. It's very satisfying. Nice thwack, all of that. Great. Access to lock bar is good too. Kind of typical Civivi, got a little bit peeking out right there. God, I love that. Scale color, it's just cool. Let's do carry profile. Thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's about the same. Length and height, PM2 Para 3. This is where it's really nice, is because of the thin profile. You actually have room if you're the type of person. I don't carry anything else in my knife pocket. I don't know what it is about that. My knife pocket is my knife pocket. Even if my knife is like this big, I'm like, no, that's where my knife is. It's weird. I don't want to put anything else in there. The bigger the knife, the less room you have for other stuff. This isn't a very big knife, so you have plenty of room for stuff. I mean, it takes up way less space. I mean, it's shorter. It's nowhere near as tall. It's almost like half the height of the PM2. Very compact. Let's do a hardware check. I'm going to get out my tools. As per usual, my tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. The pivot's a T8. This is all T8. It's Civivi. Perfect. That's what we want, right? We just need Civivi to give up all of the, they're just like, it has to be that clip. It has to be this clip, Shawn. You can do whatever you want, but we're putting our clip on it. Do you understand? That's the conversation they had. He's like in a chair and they're leaning. You're going to use our clip. Shawn showed me a picture on Instagram. He said I immediately replaced that clip. It's a Civivi. It's their titanium clip, the popsicle stick one, which I like a lot more. And you have that option if you want. Maybe that's their strategy. I don't know, but yeah. If they would give up the bill on this clip and they would nest the clip, right? Or kind of do the slotted thing, which it would be great. That'd be perfect. But I mean, as it sits, I joke around. It's a B to B minus clip. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But it has T6 screws. I wish that they would do T8. I feel like they could fit them on there. But okay, whatever. It's fine. He's got multiple. He's got left and right-handed mounting positions too. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and weigh it. What do we have for materials here? We have the peel ply textured, very lightly peel ply textured lime green G10 in this case. Love that. You do have, if you don't want the super bright color, they do make versions that are not as brightly colored. Steel liners, and then we have a nice satin finished Wharncliffe blade, which is in 14C28N, and I don't know if we're actually going to see it printed anywhere. Is it just not printed on there at all? I wonder if he requested that and said, just don't put it on the blade. I think that's cool. You just have the Peace Neighbor logo, and that's it. I mean, that's great. That's how you want to do it. Minimal billboarding. 2.9 ounces for, what did we say? 3.35 inches of blade. Really, really nice. And your balance is about right here. Maybe a 1/4 inch back of the pivot, right in the middle of the primary index finger position. You can also choke up. I think the balance is pretty good. Not going to complain there. Really, really nice weight there. That's under what I consider ultra lightweight, so we're good to go. Blade stock thickness, probably pretty thin. Let's go ahead and do this here real quick. Blade stock thickness is coming in at 115 thousandths, nice and thin. Okay, meat and potatoes time. Honestly, this is going to be pretty straightforward. This is a nice utilitarian I call this Warncliffe. You can tell me if I'm wrong, right? Warncliffe blade shape. We've got jimping that extends out to a point where it does complement the index finger position in the choil. I can comfortably get there. Second knuckle, I am slightly here, but because this is not a knife with a flipper tab, it doesn't really matter. The transition from this zone to this zone is pretty comfortable. This area right here looks like it's pointy, but it's not. As you can see, it's really, really nicely knocked down. So if you do want to choke up, yeah, pretty good. You can also comfortably hold it here in a hammer grip, and if you're like me, and you wear an XL glove or smaller, I've got enough room for a 4-finger grip. This is nice. Most of the time I'm doing this, right? Or I'm holding it like this or what. It's comfortable in a number of different grips. Any type of grip or deployment, whatever it is that I'm trying to do, if I'm like fidgeting with it, if I'm on the couch doing this, all of these positions are comfortable and natural. And I think if you're even vaguely familiar with modern pocket knives, this whole thing is just going to feel like, oh yeah, I've experienced, I know exactly what to do with this. And that's what you want. You don't want to have to like relearn as somebody who has his own preferences and is constantly messing with different pocket knives, certain things work with my hands and other things I'm like, I have to adjust. Not really with this. Everything here makes sense and it looks good and it's functional and it doesn't cost very much money. It's all worked out. I like the little hole here, and then it kind of extends into a filled-in little fuller kind of situation. Behind the edge, it's not a super thick blade to begin with. It doesn't have a ton of room to drop down, but it does drop down to kind of like a medium or slim medium edge. It's fine. Civivi does a really, really nice edge, and of course it's 14C28N, which is the type of steel we want on a pocket knife that's at this price point, right? We've got a nice tip, does thin out. Obviously, don't do anything crazy with the tip, but for draw cuts and things like that, which down here, something that I use blades like this for, and like a lot of times I'm reaching for the Hogue Deca or similar knives. When I'm making shipping labels and stuff, or if I'm like cutting something to shape, whatever having to do with shipments, having a knife like this laying around I'll always reach for it because it's so much faster. If I'm just trying to cut a shape out of a piece of paper, it's so much faster than scissors. And I feel like I'm more accurate with it, right? It doesn't have to be reduced to simply that, but little things like that when you're trying to cut a shape out of some material, or you're trying to cut an accurate line or whatever, right? You've got your straight edge up against something and you're trying to cut, almost got myself on the finger there. You're trying to, cut against a straight. These types of knives are awesome. I love it, right? It's not everybody's favorite blade. I mean, no blade shape I think is everybody's favorite blade shape. It doesn't have any belly to it, but it's plenty sharp. Obviously, your factory edge, cutting something like paper, right? No problem. Easy, slicey. It'll do the job. Civivi does a great factory edge, and it'll be really easy to touch up and resharpen. 3 little lines here just for a little bit of aesthetic sauce. Not much else there, just 3 little lines. That's fine. Doesn't need to be anything else. It does the trick. We have no lanyard thing. Oh no! Shawn, what about all those people? What about all 7 people on planet Earth who like lanyards? You can attach it to the pocket clip. Don't cry about it. You can attach it to the pocket clip. Look at this right here. Right, you're fine. Clips, everything's good, right? A couple of standoffs back here. Pretty typical Civivi construction, like what we expect. Your stop pin is located in its traditional spot right here, and there's a teeny tiny little divot right there. That's for the impact zone and the open position on the stop pin, and then your closed position for the stop pin is right here. Note that he has made sure not to connect immediately behind the plunge grind, which we'll take a look at, right? We've seen this in the past. Something that I often overlook is when designs impact right here. It'll still take just a bit to get there, but as you can see, the more you sharpen it, eventually that edge gets back to here, right? Pretty quick. But if your impact zone is way back here in the middle, it's like the start of the curvature. You have tons of material before you actually get there. So it's like impacting about right here, which is fine. Think about how much material would have to be removed. I think that that's fine. That's plenty far back. So we're good to go. Runs on bearings, obviously no blade play, up, down, left to right, no lock stick, no pivot lash. Smooth and consistent in here. Civivi does such a good job at this price point. Really nice detent, and it has remained to be essentially spot on centering. Maybe it's a hair favoring the left side. I wonder if I can just back that pivot out just a little bit and see. Where's my little screwdriver? There you are, bud. Let's see. We're favoring the left side, so we need to actually back it out just a little bit. Boy, I think maybe that did the trick just right there. Yeah. How are we on blade play? Oh, yeah. We were just a little tight. God, now the action's even better. That's great. Okay. Yeah, this is easy. This is one of those, this is what I call an everybody knife. Shawn, I think, was making, I thought this was his first design. I didn't realize. I think he has more than one design. Shawn was not only designing a knife that was ideal for him, but a lot of what he wants is kind of what a lot of people want when they're looking for a good quality tool. This is legitimately an everybody knife. Simple in construction. It's just a liner lock, right? It's certainly not a blade shape we've never seen before. It's not even necessarily a profile we've never seen before. It's just a lot of stuff that makes sense for like an inexpensive EDC knife. But like everything is correct. There's not really anything here that I feel like I need to critique too much. It all feels correct. It all feels like exactly what it should be, you know? And I can understand how he arrived at all of the conclusions that he did. You know, if you like rear flippers, it doesn't have it. If you like thumb studs, it doesn't have it. I think it's got, you know, everything you would need to properly and conveniently deploy this with a, you know, it feels good kind of thing. Yeah. Everybody. This is a knife that is literally for anybody and everybody. I mean, unless you live in an area where there's like a stupid blade law or whatever, right? Or if you live outside the United States and a gum wrapper is considered a blade. Like, that sucks. I don't know why your guys' laws are like that, but I mean, that sucks. Sorry. For everybody else who can legally own this, which is most people in the United States, yes, I recommend you check it out, especially the green one. I think that's awesome. I'm going to put this knife in my Cheap Knives I Like playlist because it's under 75 bucks. And I'm also going to put it in my most recommended knives playlist because it is legitimately a knife that I recommend to, in this case, pretty much everybody. That's going to be it today. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.